Let's talk about what selling on Amazon is actually like. If you've been on social media at all and seen people who talk about selling on Amazon, I'm sure you've seen a ton of false promises and a ton of lies that just simply aren't true. Some of those lies are intentionally designed to steal your money, but I also see other lies floating around that just keep people from making money on Amazon for way too long. I know this was the case for me. I started selling products on Amazon about 6 years ago, and a lot of the lies that I want to break down today actually slowed down my growth a lot. And so today we're going to investigate some of the biggest claims that people spread about selling on Amazon. We'll look at which ones are true, which ones you should be worried about as an Amazon seller, and which ones turned out to be complete bogus and I never ran into. I really wish I had this video when I first started selling on Amazon, so especially if you're just getting started, make sure you pay close attention to this and let's break it all down. The first claim I want to investigate with you guys is that it's super hard to find those first products to sell on Amazon. And I know it definitely felt this way for me when I was starting because there was very little free information that was actually good out there. I thought you had to actually go out and create your own brand, create your own marketing, create your own product. If you've heard about this before, this is called private label. It's a great way to sell on Amazon, but it's the absolute worst way to start an Amazon business because not only are you figuring out how to sell on Amazon, you're also figuring out how to start marketing something, how to buy ads, just way too many moving parts all at once. And so eventually I stumbled into the easiest way to make that first sale or two on Amazon. Literally just go look at the old bookshelf you have collecting dust. You can pull out the Amazon Seller app and just start scanning those books. Instead of going out and creating your own listings, all that kind of thing, just make your first few sales selling books. And if that sounds boring to you and you're willing to just throw a bunch of money at this and see what happens, you can also start selling name brand products like this one right here. And this is actually the vast majority of my business still is name brand products like this candle, for example. We can get these for basically $3 each with a nice sale that's going on today. And then we can sell these same two candles for 18 bucks on Amazon, which when we punch this into SellerAmp, that leaves us with about a $5 profit after shipping, sales tax, all that good stuff. And so finding that first product is not as difficult as actually creating a product. You just need to simply find name brand products that actually already sell. And once you do, you can also use this to find tons more products that are just like it. Because what I've done to sell over $2 million already this year is look at big brands. For example, this candle brand has a big buy one, get one sale going on kind of thing. And then instead of randomly clicking around listings, randomly looking through websites, trying to find things that sell on Amazon, all I have to do is go ahead and open up the stores of other successful Amazon sellers. And since I know where they're getting a bunch of these cheap products today, for example, this candle brand, it looks like the majority of this Amazon seller's catalog, I can just filter down to this brand. I'll just click it. And now I'm looking at all of their best items that are specifically in this brand, right? So for example, if I think I can find any of these products profitably, so let's check this out, right? So it sells over 1,000 times a month. We need to buy these for $15 or less, and we can just see what these are selling for on the website. So this actually could be a great example right away, actually, which is pretty cool. So let's see. Yeah, so these are basically 15 bucks when we're going to buy two for 15 and get two more for free. And then this Amazon listing, we're actually going to be able to sell four of them. It looks like for around $30. So this looks great to me, right? So we can sell these for 30 bucks. We're buying these for $15 and perfect, right? So we're going to make $5 profit every time this sells. It sells over 1,000 times a month as well. So this is the type of stuff you want to look for in the early days, right? Don't worry about making your own brands, your own listings, all that kind of stuff. That's fantastic if you want to put some money in that later down the line. I love that idea, but you're probably going to make some expensive mistakes, and it's a lot easier for you to learn like this rather than trying to learn a million different things at once. And if you've looked into selling on Amazon at all, this brings me into the second claim that I want to talk about. And that's that people say that it's really hard to get ungated or approved to sell those big name brands, right? So this like candle brand we were looking at, for example, I didn't realize that I could even sell big brands like this. It took me like a year of selling books and just learning the ropes before someone said, hey, you can just sell the big name brands, right? And so if you want to sell these big name brands, all you have to do is buy directly from the website, buy directly from a retailer that is trusted by Amazon. So Target, Vitacost, Kohl's, Walmart, anything like that. And then when you go ahead and try to list these products on Amazon, you're going to take the brand name of whatever product you're trying to sell. For example, this candle brand here, go ahead and select new. And then for me, if it says sell this product, that means that you are able to sell this brand and there's no issue selling it. On the flip side, if I go to a brand that I'm currently like not allowed to sell, I can go ahead and press whatever condition I want to sell it in and then apply to sell right there. And that is going to ask me for approval. Basically, I'll go ahead and submit an invoice with at least 10 units right there, bought from a legit retailer or distributor. And in this case, since we'd be buying directly from the brand, you could do it that way. On top of that, if you're looking for even more low-hanging fruit to sell on Amazon, you can sell stuff that are auto-ungated brands. So for example, here's like a t-shirt brand. I use this as an example a lot for like auto-ungated brands. If you want to try to see what's auto-ungated for your store as well, I've got a full list of over 1,800 brands that you can try down below. Mileage is going to vary depending on your seller account because the more products you sell on Amazon, the more auto-ungated products you're going to have. But I just hear a lot of people talking talking about how it's super difficult to get ungated, all that kind of thing, and it's just completely impossible, right? Sometimes you are going to get denied, right? Like whenever I'm submitting these ungating applications, it's pretty common for me to have to submit multiple times, and that's where people start throwing in the towel. The big thing with ungating and selling on Amazon, making money online in general, is that the person who's giving up when they hit that first roadblock or they're told no the first time, they're probably not going to make a lot of money in online business. Making money online is all about being persistent, and that's especially true when it comes to getting approved to sell these big name brands, right? Look at these brands like this that you're allowed to ungate to sell on Amazon. Also try that auto ungate list. And if you do get any denials using invoices, just make sure you keep submitting those, because at the end of the day, as long as you have everything that basically matches your Amazon seller account, you're going to be able to get approved to sell those big brands. And speaking of these auto ungated products, this also brings me to the next super important thing. This might be the most important thing that people who fail at Amazon never realize, is that you need to make products profitable. You don't tend to find them profitably, right? So what I mean by that is, let's look at this like auto ungated brand right here. You see how this right here, I can buy the exact same t-shirts for $21.60 right there. If I plug those into SellerAmp, I'm not really making enough profit for it to be interesting. $2, 10% ROI. That's not really going to be a good long-term business, but this does become extremely interesting when we make this product profitable using one of many discount methods, right? For example, on this item, I can buy discounted gift cards to create my profit margin, right? This is something that a lot of new Amazon sellers aren't thinking about, things that people who aren't willing to really put in the work are not going to be willing to do. And that's why you're going to be left making plenty of profit on these listings, right? This is called Card Bear, and it's basically a marketplace that shows me a bunch of different places that I can buy discounted gift cards. So let's take a look at GCX, for example. I've bought a good amount here. So what I can do is I can actually buy $500 of discounted gift cards for $413. So as soon as I do that, I'm immediately making a 17% reduction on my buy cost. So now instead of paying $21.60 a unit with that 17% discount, I'm actually going to be paying about $18, which leaves me with a very respectable 33% ROI, $6 profit on every single one of these sales. And that is something that I'm very willing to pull the trigger on, right? So that's one of the big things, is don't expect items to be sitting there at retail price. It's one of the big claims that I hear, is that all you have to do is just compare the price on this website to this price, and then you make money, right? Unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you look at it, it does require work, and it does require creating the margin on these things like this, right? So discounted gift cards is just one example. There's actually 12 different ways that I create margin in my 7-figure Amazon business. I'll leave a free document down below for that. It shows you everything from coupons to how I find sales, other discount methods that you probably aren't thinking about right now. So definitely check that out if you're serious about really scaling this thing. You're not going to find too many items profitable. You're going to make them profitable. And on the topic of actually making things profitable, doing the work that other people aren't willing to do, one of the biggest claims that I see floating around there on social media is that selling on Amazon is passive, selling on Amazon is easy, all this kind of crazy stuff. To be honest, if you start hearing those words from somebody that you're learning from online, probably a smart idea to run away there, because at the end of the day, selling on Amazon has been awesome. I've been doing it pretty much daily for 6 years now. It has completely changed my life. I've been able to accomplish much more than I ever thought I was going to be able to. Never needed a 9-to-5 job because I've been full-time on Amazon. Everything that's probably a great goal for you right now, and I'm excited to see where it continues to go. But if you hear people talking about how it's passive or easy, all this kind of stuff, absolutely not. Making money online in general is not supposed to be easy. And whoever's sitting there calling Amazon passive is insane. You're sitting there basically daily putting in work, talking to other Amazon sellers, really just getting as familiar with the Amazon space as possible. And the last thing I would describe Amazon as is passive, but it is definitely worth your time. So just draw the distinction there. You need to expect that it's going to take hard work, and just don't buy into the whole like it's passive thing that people will talk about. The next claim I want to dive into with you is about how it takes forever to start making sales on Amazon. Not even sure if you might be able to make sales on Amazon. So let's talk about how we can basically make those sales as fast as possible as Amazon sellers. And we'll dive back into the computer here and I'll show you how we can do that, right? So on this item right here, we can sell any item on Amazon via 2 different methods. So we can do fulfillment by merchant, where if this product sells, we have it at our house, at the warehouse, whatever it is. When it sells, we're going to bag it all up, box it up, ship it off to the Amazon customer. And that obviously has the downside of you yourself having to ship things out, but it also has the upside of it being much faster for you to receive the product that same day. You can make the sale and ship it out to the customer. On the flip side of that, the other way you can sell on Amazon is via FBA. So all these sellers, they have boxed up these items, they've shipped them into Amazon, and then basically when Amazon finds a customer, they ship it from the warehouse after you've shipped to them directly to the customer. So you're not having to see or touch any of those products after you've initially shipped them all into Amazon's warehouse. So that is the advantage of being much more scalable scalable, but there's also a big lag time in terms of how fast you're able to make sales on those listings. And so if you're a brand new seller, I would highly recommend that you do as much fulfillment by merchant as possible. If you're trying to see which items you can make sales as an FBM seller, you'll be able to go to the buy box analysis tab on SellerAmp, and then I can filter and see exactly who's winning sales, when they won the sale, what their price was, tons of other information, right? So for example, on this, I can see FBA sellers have won most of the sales for the last like day or two here, but then I see an FBM seller made a sale there, FBM seller there. So the main thing is Amazon tends to prioritize giving sales to FBA sellers, but some listings are very FBM friendly, especially depending on the time of year. Like during the holidays, it's very FBM friendly. During rush periods like back to school, big holidays, all that kind of stuff, there's a lot more opportunity for FBM sellers. And that's definitely true on this item. I can see tons of FBM sellers have been able to make sales here. So personally, if I were new to the game, I would be listing this item via FBM right here. And to do that, to start making those listings, getting those sales as fast as possible, that's where you want to use Boxem. So Boxem is how I track all the profit my business is making. I make all the shipments here. I tell Amazon basically what I want to send to Amazon and what I'm selling. You can create FBA shipments through Boxem. One really big thing, and this also touches on making those sales as fast as possible, getting over that claim that it takes forever to start making sales. Because if you want to do FBA, I tend to do a lot of FBA. I'm always using these 2D barcodes that are embedded within Boxem. It basically just adds a barcode onto every shipping label that I'm sending out to the Amazon warehouse. And when they scan this barcode on the bottom right there, it embeds a lot of information about what's in the box, details that help Amazon check in those items. And for me, using Boxem has made me make sales on Amazon a couple days faster on average. So over time, that's huge. Cash flow is massive for your Amazon business. And in this case, let's say we want to list those shirts via FBM. All I would have to do is take that ASIN or UPC or title, whatever is easiest for you to search. In this case, I'm going to go ahead and say that we have a new SKU there. Let's go ahead and punch in that we're paying, I think we're paying about 19 bucks for those. Say we bought 10 of them. We can select our shipping template, where we bought it. So we've got all this data nice and tracked. It's going to basically fill all this out as we go. Go ahead and add that listing, submit the listing right there. And then boom, right? That's it. We just wait for that basically to communicate with Amazon. It takes 10, 15 minutes. And then as soon as that's listed on Amazon, you're going to be able to start making those sales. Combining that with the fact that this product is very FBM friendly. So you see lots of these sales there on the buy box. And with that combo of Boxem and SellerAmp there, that's basically the majority of the software that you'll need. That's the whole process of actually going out and making those sales as fast as possible. Another claim that I hear about selling on Amazon a lot is that you need a ton of money to get started. And there is some truth to this, so let's go ahead and break that down. And real quick, before we get into this one, the tools that we've been using like SellerAmp and Boxem, make sure you guys check out 2-week free trials of those down below. That's what you'll actually need to power and run your Amazon business. And you can try those both for completely free. And so let's go ahead and talk about the reality of how much money you actually need to sell on Amazon with a nice little just quick example here, right? So let's say that so far this year, you've sold $20,000 and you've spent about $10,000 to make that happen, right? That's pretty typical. Sometimes it might be closer to 10,500, where it's like a 50 to 52% of your revenue goes to covering your cost of goods sold. So if we're trying to figure out how much money we actually need to hit those crazy milestones that you have awesome big goals for, let's talk about what that actually takes, right? Because I personally started my Amazon business with about 1,500 bucks, and I wasn't really sure like what that could even turn into over time. And so based on this math here, let's look at some hard data. If you want to sell 100,000 bucks a month, based on a pretty realistic expectation that about 52% of your revenue is going to be covering your cost of goods sold, that means that every month to hit that awesome goal, you're going to have to be spending $52,000, right? And I know that probably sounds insane to a lot of you guys right now, and it definitely did sound insane to me in the early days. But like I was saying, I personally started with about 1,500 bucks. I was able to grow that into about $100,000 in sales by just buying smart items, buying cheap items as well. Like I said, I sold a lot of used books in my first year. So you absolutely can start an Amazon business with not that much money at all. I've done it. I've seen lots of other people do it as well. But just keep in mind that you need to have realistic expectations of your goals depending on how much money you actually have. Because at the end of the day, selling on Amazon is a very money-based business. It's cash flow based. There's basically two ways to make money online. You can either trade your time for money, or you can trade your money for a little bit more money and do that over and over again. For me, I like trading money for a little bit more money. It's just a little bit more scalable. But if you're that guy or gal, you're coming in, you got 500 bucks, 1,000 bucks. I just don't want you to have an unrealistic expectation that you're going to be able to dive in and make $1 million in your first year, all that kind of thing. As far as turning your money over goes, if you do a lot of FBM, you can typically get 8 to 12 turns of your cash every year. So what that means basically is if you had 1,000 bucks to start, you can turn that 1,000 bucks 8 times and grow it exponentially. But at the end of the day, it's still not going to be $1 million $1,000,000 after a year, right? On the flip side of that, if you're doing FBA, you're going to get about 4 to 6 or 7 full inventory turns every year you're selling on Amazon. And that's because it takes at least a few weeks usually to get everything fully checked in when you're sending those FBA shipments. So that obviously slows down your cash flow. So if you want to see what that initial investment can turn into, I'd recommend just like playing around with like compound interest calculator. Just for example, let's say you had $1,500 to start your business. You can get 10 inventory turns in a year and you're going to make about 30% ROI on every sale. That was pretty typical, right? That's what we're looking at here, is about a 33% ROI. So let's say you're doing lots of FBA, you're good at turning that money over. After a year, if you do a lot of FBA and you're doing things great, that $1,500 is going to turn into about $20,000 that you're able to continue investing. And obviously this keeps growing exponentially, but just don't have a weird expectation that if you're coming in super broke and you're not taking debt and leveraging credit cards, which I really wouldn't recommend to beginners, just keep in mind that you need to have kind of those realistic expectations. So play around with like a compound interest calculator, just see what you can actually turn your money into. So at the end of the day, even though I don't like how a lot of people talk about selling on Amazon, making money online in general, it's still absolutely a great opportunity to pursue in 2024, 2025, and beyond. I know I'm personally going to be continuing to grow my Amazon business, as well as expanding into places like Walmart, eBay, all those other kind of marketplaces, just so I'm not too reliant on one single income stream, which I would really recommend you guys do as well. But I hope you learned a lot from this simple breakdown of the most common things that I hear people talking about when it comes to selling on Amazon. Drop any questions or comments if you guys have those down below. Always happy to chat with you there. If you want to help me out with my childhood dream of having a shiny 100K YouTube subscriber plaque, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. And I really appreciate you guys watching this video, and I will see you next time.